Well, welcome back. We're back. Another episode of Wild Sports. Sean's laughing because we had to cut how we started the last video. We might get banned.
My apologies.
What an idiot. But we're just gonna crank this thing back up. Another episode. Wild Sports. Again. I'm Foo. Got Sean here with me.
What up?
Don't say it again. We've got another episode of Alabama Georgia review and preview. We're going to start out with the Georgia Bulldogs
Yes, we are.
because we're not going to have a preview because they've got an off week before the gauntlet.
Yes, the gauntlet
of the season starts. So
oh man, it's brutal.
Georgia's game. So Sean, why don't you
man? All right,
kick off with a review of
little review recap of the UGA Vanderbilt game. Another great showing for the Georgia fan base traveling up to the in construction Vanderbilt. I think it's going to be a really nice place once they're done with all their stuff.
How was it? I didn't get to watch it. Did they? Was it red?
No, not as much as like previous seasons. It wasn't even like that packed either. I guess not too many people have been pleased with what I'm about to jump into. Yet another slow start for the Georgia Bulldogs. We're 7 games in now, and I'm not sure whether to attest it to the new game clock rules or this team just isn't that great at starting games out. You know, I think, previous seasons we may not have scored on the first possession, but, we still put up 2 touchdowns in the first quarter, 10 points, had a solid, 7-point quarter that we looked good. That's just not the team this year. And I can't tell if it's because the clock sped up or it's just not our MO. Vanderbilt came out in the first possession and was just nickel and dime in the Georgia Dogs defense until there's a little miscommunication between 2 Dogs defenders. Drawing a blank. I know one was Tyke Smith because he was the one that blew the coverage.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I'm drawing a blank on the other one. But basically, it was one of those stacked formations. Wide receivers were stacked.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, they gave the signal, whatever this means, you got this guy, you got this guy. Apparently, Tyke didn't think he had either of them. And a little quick slant turned into house call for Landon Humphreys. That kid, by the way, has got some wheels on him.
Yeah.
He was quick. Actually, their entire team, so fast. They were a very fast team. What's that?
Vandy's got the speed.
They do. They have some pretty good speed on that team. After that touchdown, UGA scored 27 straight points. In that, they did lose Brock Bowers to an ankle injury, which will require surgery. I'm pretty sure he had it today or yesterday. Some have come back from this particular surgery / injury pretty quickly. I think, weren't you the one that told me someone had it?
Yeah, Tua had it twice. Jalen had it, I believe. No, I think it was Mac. I know Tua had it twice and came back. It was like before the national championship and.
So my belief is that he'll come back this season. I'm just not sure when it's going to be.
Yeah. Because quarterbacks, they're using their ankle, but compared to what Brock Bowers was doing, definitely not using it as much.
Right. Many more cuts in his gameplay, many more, what's that called? Like restriction type stuff.
He's holding 250 to 300 pound men.
Yeah. My personal opinion, do not rush back. You're literally going to be a top 10 pick. You've done what you could for UGA, and if you're not fully ready to go, don't jeopardize your NFL life for the remainder of the year. Personal opinion.
Very selfless take there. I'm impressed.
I'm just being real. You've done more than enough for the faithful.
Yeah.
And we want to see you playing on Sundays. We want to buy your jersey wherever you end up, Arizona, and we want to really watch you play an NFL career. The final thing I'm going to say about this game before I hand it over to you is that it felt like the Dogs did cover the spread. Oh, spoiler alert, they didn't cover the spread. It felt like they
What?
did cover the spread with how much they genuinely dominated this game. Over 37 minutes of possession, 550 yards on offense, 26-9 on first downs. So
Yeah,
the over hit, Vandy covered. Like Kirby said, we've never reached a bye week that we didn't need.
yeah.
So
I mean, I didn't get to watch it, but going back to the same thing, stat column, it looked like a dominating if you just looked at the stat. Like you said, 552 to 219. Looked like a solid run game for your boy Edwards. Don't think you're going to squeak by. You think you're squeaking by?
with what?
Your 3 turnover guarantee last week?
No, I'm not squeaking.
I'm saying you think you're going to squeak that by me and not mention it in your little take there because you weren't even close. 1 turnover against the Vanderbilt Commodores. 1.
They were fast.
Come on, man. I mean, bold call there for the 3 turnovers, but we only got 1 out of the Georgia Bulldogs. So 0 for 1 in the guarantees on this year. 0 and 1 for Sean. Hopefully, nobody listened to our take on far as betting because, like you said, final score was 37-20. You had 48-6. I had 48-3.
We thought we were so good too. We were like, dude, look at us, we're so matched.
I look back at my own. I saw my only note, and I know I said it too, was curb stomp. I mean, technically in the stat column, you did curb stomp.
Eh,
Scoreboard, not even close to curb stomping, but
that's what I mean. Like
uh,
the 20 points was so like well. What's the like? Just like articulated almost.
yeah,
It was a sneaky 20.
yeah. All right. So no review on the Bulldogs because they are off this week, like we said. Going into some Alabama stuff here. A pretty ugly game against Arkansas. First off, the final was 24-21. Um, I projected 30-17. So not crazy off, but definitely
Nope, not crazy off at all.
not crazy off. But Sean had a little more faith, 42-14. So had a little more faith in the Tide than I did. Interesting kind of game. First half started out, we got down 6-0, gave up 2 field goals, and then just kind of took over. Got up 21-6 going into half. Milrow, and then we just fell asleep in the second half. I'm not really sure what happened with them. Milrow finished the first half 8 of 12 for a little over 200 yards, I think, 2 touchdowns and one rush touchdown. He finished the game 10 of 21 for 238 and 2 touchdowns and one rush touchdown. So 2 for 9
Yeah,
in the second half.
it's not
For
good.
38 yards. I don't know. I think he threw 8 consecutive incompletions. The eighth one was just a straight drop, but just like he completely lost. It reminded me again of my golf game. I won't bash you. My golf game. Sometimes it just was like he was firing on all cylinders, and then it was just like all of a sudden just started spraying it. Like he couldn't hit a 5 yard crossing route. So just kind of fell asleep there in the second half. Ended up pulling it out, but again, kind of like the Georgia. I mean, not as skewed probably, but 415 total yards to 250 total yards. Um, So I mean, I don't know. It was just weird. It was like they just went into halftime and fell asleep and came out and just kind of walked their way through the second half and all could have slipped up. Defense played good. Um, Gave up a little bit there in the second half, but offense was just 3 and out off the field, kind of just put them in some bad spots. But overall, ended up getting the W. And I thought it was going to be a tougher game. I mean,
Yeah, he did.
Arkansas lost what, 5 consecutive games. I think they said by a total of like 24 or 25 points. I think so. It's not like they're just getting blown out by these teams. Um, but some things I did like, we only had 5 penalties for 45 yards, so that was
D-
nice.
Definitely clean that
Um,
up.
Cleaned that up a little bit, so got through it. Not exactly what you want to see, but got out with the W. I'm moving into this week.
Actually, before I'm going to put a couple of notes there.
Yep.
First off, Vegas is sick because the over under was spot on. It's 45.
You're right.
You said
It,
this is similar to the UGA game, and you were right 100%. Underdog took an early lead, then the favorite put up 3 scores real quick, 3, 4 scores real quick, and then let the underdog, you know, put a couple more points up. Let's see. Judging by the yards per carry for each running back, it looks like instead of letting them back in the game, Bama should probably just kept handing the ball off until they got a first down, whether that be 3 or 4 times in their 10-yard stint or not. Just get a first down.
yeah.
With Jalen's poor completion percentage, I got to ask you because I didn't get to watch the game. Are they calling too many deep shots? Is he throwing too many balls away to try and stay out of sacks? Should they be drawing up some higher percentage throws for him?
I mean, I'm going to get into the deep ball conversation and the in the preview, but
Okay.
it's not necessarily that he's just throwing deep. But he just lost his accuracy. I mean, he threw, like I said, 8 straight incompletions, one being a drop, but it's just so it's not like they were just trying to get him to throw deep the whole time. I mean, it was just he missed a couple of passes that he shouldn't have missed. Like that, it was inaccuracy that I hadn't seen from him this year. I've seen some inaccuracy, but not like consistently like he was doing to start the second half. So, um, I don't think anything to be really freaked out about.
Okay.
But a lot of flack from a lot of people not huge on Tommy Reese right now. But I mean, I'm not hating on him right now. I mean, I think he's like a team. I think he's just developing and it's getting better. So, but no, I don't credit to just going deep or doing anything crazy. It was just a little, just a spurt where it
Yeah.
just kind of got off a little bit.
All right.
Um,
On to the preview.
we previewed the big one, third Saturday in October, big rivalry. Alabama, Tennessee, 2:30 CBS. Alabama's sitting somewhere around a 8.5, 9.5. Lines moving all over the place. Point favorite in Tuscaloosa.
Huge.
Yeah, it's just last
That
year went to Tennessee, lost in. I think again, Tennessee's another team that I think and I think I said it last week's a pretty sneaky. I feel like a lot of people have counted them out. Um, Joe Milton hasn't been the Heisman
what
candidate that
what he
people were
was sought out
expecting.
to be.
Everybody hyped him up. So all these offseason videos of him, chucking a ball 100 yards or whatever. Um, he's been off a little bit. His accuracy hadn't been, but not terrible. He's not like I said. I'm just not understanding the kind of sleeping on Tennessee. I don't think they're as dynamic as last year. Definitely. They're not as scary to me, but a very solid pass rush. I believe they're third in the nation in sacks. So it's kind of the same keys to me every week that for Alabama as far as if they want to win the game. I think you've got to protect Milrow, obviously. We're going to give up some sacks. I mean, we've shown that all year.
Yeah.
We're 130 now. I think we went from 125 to 130. Again, a lot of those are him trying to scram. He's getting tackled where if that one guy doesn't make the tackle for the sack, he probably gets 15, 20 yards. So, like I said, kind of talked about this last week. It's not the sacks where there's some where they're getting beat, but there's a lot of them that you can kind of contribute to Milrow and the type quarterback he is. Um, he tries to extend those plays, and sometimes it doesn't work.
Right.
And you're for the sack. So, I think that's a big matchup this week. Um, and the Tennessee defensive line, I saw that they held up. Let's see, excuse me. Tennessee's offensive line went in against Texas A&M last week, who had one of the top rushing defenses in the country and the SEC, and Tennessee had 4.7 yards per carry on. So they kind of bully balled them, and I think that opens up a little more effectiveness for Joe Milton when you can kind of defense has to kind of hone in on that run and
Yeah.
not
Absolutely.
So I think that's another big aspect of this game is how does the Alabama front hold up against this Tennessee rush game, because they've been pretty solid this year on the rush, and especially coming off against Texas A&M where they kind of had their way with them and came out with the W. So
I mean, to be honest with you, these two teams are extremely even if we're talking just like paper to paper,
yeah,
which I can't stand saying because I can't stand Tennessee.
me
The
either.
passing yards per game is 7 yards in favor of the Tide. The passing yards allowed per game is 10 yards in favor of the Tide. The big difference comes in the rushing yards per game, which is 83 yards per game in favor of the Vols.
Yeah,
So I mean, these are two extremely. I'm telling you, it's so big that this game is in Tuscaloosa. I think the difference is honestly going to be the fans.
yeah.
I really genuinely believe that.
No, I mean it definitely plays a difference because I've told you I think Tennessee has the rowdiest crowd, the rowdiest stadium. I've been to a lot of them. I've been to every SEC except Texas A&M and Missouri. And to me, Tennessee has been. And I went to Tennessee when we were like, the eighth, 10th, 12th victory. Like I went to when we were like killing them, and they were still just at the start of the game at least just super super loud. And I've been to games back in the day when they were actually beating us, but I think home field advantage is big, and I just think the Alabama defense can't fall asleep again. You kind of fell asleep against Arkansas. KJ Jefferson's good. Um, Almost kind of got them back in where they could have won that game. I mean, they could have won that game against us.
Yep.
I thought Alabama in the 4 games before Arkansas had allowed 13 points in the second half in 4 games combined, and they allowed 15 against Arkansas in the second half. So just can't have that falling asleep because I think Tennessee's a team that can really, if you don't play a good game, like you're going to get beat.
Yeah.
Um, and the other thing I kind of talked about in the review or the preview is that I want to see Alabama effective in the pass game, not just on deep balls, because it seems like most of it is coming from deep balls. Now, they're open. I mean, I can't say, now against Texas A&M, there was a lot of, Burton beating guys deep, or just have the guy turn and he kind of threw it up in one-on-one coverage. But last week there was, Kobe Prentice was just running wide open down the field. But mixing in that short stuff, I think it's going to be important. So a big one We'll have our favorite commentators on this game. Super excited for that. Erie and Vern.
Yeah.
But big game. Prediction
Uh,
wise.
let's see. I mean, both teams are sitting at one loss on the season. If Bama wins here, they all but eliminate Tennessee from going to Atlanta this year, in my opinion, because you got Missouri. Let's see. Sorry, you got Missouri at one conference loss. You got Florida at one conference loss, and that would give Tennessee two conference losses, and you got Georgia obviously zero currently.
Yeah.
So I think a loss this weekend would all but eliminate their chances for Atlanta. Uh, at the very least, it makes it nearly impossible. I think they're going to need the home crowd to show up big here, which I'm sure they will. It's one of the biggest rivalries they got. Uh, third Saturday of October, man. It's a beautiful
What's your
thing. What do I got?
prediction?
Prediction. I got what's the spread again? 9.
Nine. It's
I have a push. I have a push. 26-17.
26-17 Alabama. Because you've been
Come,
known to pick against Alabama here.
I did it one time.
It's all the evidence I need, Sean. It's all the evidence I need. All right. 26-17. I'd be okay with it. I'd take it. I've got 31-20.
Okay,
I don't know why, but that's what I'm going with.
let's do it. You got Tennessee winning?
Get out of here.
Oh, okay.
All
Just
right.
went,
That's another week. We will check back next week, see how we did. Then we'll get ready to we won't have a preview for Georgia, but a review, but we will do a preview of the start of the gauntlet. So y'all
thank
tune
you.
in next week for the
Thank you.
start. Sean says the gauntlet that Georgia's about to go through.
Thank you.
Y'all like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you think. Is Bama pulling it out this week in the third Saturday in October? Are they going down? Season over as far as national championship. SEC West would still be alive, but national championship hopes would go down the toilet. So y'all let us know what you think. Thanks for watching. Again, like, comment, subscribe. Till next week.